We had a bunch of trades and news this weekend. Let's break it down next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Monday, March 14th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White, and let's start with Mitch Garver, who was traded to the Texas Rangers in exchange for Isiah Kiner-Falefa. More on that in a second. And Ronnie Enriquez. Scott, what do you think about this move for Mitch Garver? Can it lead to more playing time?
I think that's the most important part, right? I mean, the only reason Garver wasn't a consensus top 10 catcher in fantasy is because of those playing time concerns. And while playing for the Rangers isn't going to keep him healthier in all likelihood, the playing time concerns went beyond that, because even when he was healthy down the stretch last year, the Twins were having him split at bats about 50-50 with Ryan Jeffers. I was still inclined to take a shot on him, Garver, where he was going, because it's like upside. I'll take whatever I can get at this position. But now that we have a team that's acquired him that didn't already have an answer at catcher, I think the chances of him being a true number one are pretty high. And that's exciting, given his numbers over the last 3 years. His 875 OPS just last year was third among catchers with at least 200 at-bats. So I would I moved him up to about 7th of the position. I have him ahead of Keibert Ruiz in roto leagues, behind Keibert Ruiz in points leagues, because Ruiz is hardly ever going to strike out. But that's where I draft Garver now, while also acknowledging he has top 5 potential.
All right, Isiah Kiner-Falefa, I mentioned he was traded to the Minnesota Twins for all but one day, late Sunday night. There was a blockbuster that we got. Josh Donaldson, Isiah Kiner-Falefa, and catcher Ben Rortvedt were traded to the New York Yankees in exchange for Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez. Scott, what do you think this does for Josh Donaldson and Isiah Kiner-Falefa? Do you think this is stock up for both of these guys?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's a better park. It's a better lineup. I don't think it's a drastic enough change for them to become, I don't see myself moving them way up my rankings or anything. Maybe Donaldson will, just because, Yankees, Yankee Stadium, people will get hyped for that. But I don't think there's any reason to think it's going to transform him as a player. I think the bigger deal with this trade is, the Twins just moved what was presumed to be the left side of their infield. So now there's Jose Miranda, the prospect who put up monster numbers between Double and Triple A last year. Whether it's at third base or at second base, there's an easier path for him to the big leagues now. I understand Urshela came back in the trade, but even so, Urshela could play short, or Miranda could play second with Jorge Polanco playing short. So that's I think the big winner here. It's also interesting, the Twins got salary relief in this deal, but otherwise they essentially swapped Mitch Garver for Gary Sanchez. Does that mean they feel better about Gary Sanchez than they did Mitch Garver? I don't think they should, but it's interesting to think about, because we know Sanchez, of course, has been an impact bat in the past.
Let's talk about 2 starting pitcher trades that happened this weekend. Sonny Gray was moved to the Minnesota Twins, and Chris Bassitt was traded over to the New York Mets. Scott, which pitcher here do you think this affects more, Sonny Gray or Chris Bassitt?
I think it affects Bassitt more, because you just look at his home away splits during his time with Oakland, which is his entire major league career, right? Career numbers at home, 2.58 ERA versus 4.34 everywhere else. He's a guy who pitches more to contact. The strikeouts have improved a little in recent years, but pitches to contact, doesn't get a ton of ground balls. So you could see why he'd be affected by his environment like that. Having said that, Citi Field's not like a terrible place to pitch. And as I mentioned, the strikeouts going up have made him less dependent on what happens when the ball's when contact is made. So, I'm not counting on a low 3s ERA for Bassitt like he put up last year, but mid 3s I think is still very much in the realm of possibility, and I'd still be fine taking him as like a number 4, number 5 in fantasy.
All right. Nelson Cruz signed a one-year deal with the Washington Nationals worth $15 million. They have a mutual option for 2023. The ADP for Nelson Cruz is 153.2. Scott, where do you think that, how high do you think that moves now that he has signed with a team?
It probably goes up a little, yeah, because people don't have to worry where's he going to go, when's he going to be ready for the season, that sort of thing. I don't think we should put much stock in what he did with the Rays last year. Obviously, he kind of slumped after joining them, but it was mostly at home, and we've learned from Willie Adames how bad a place Tropicana Field is to hit in.
All right, this last piece of news here, pretty big. On Sunday, we learned that Zack Wheeler had shoulder soreness in December, and as a result, will not be ready for opening day. So maybe it's a week, 2 weeks into the season, whatever it might be. We'll learn more information. Scott, how far are you lowering Zack Wheeler in your starting pitcher ranks?
Not a ton. It sounds like an abundance of caution sort of thing. He felt a little sore when he started throwing in December. He knew he had more time, so it just was like, I'll pick it up later. No big deal. He really downplayed it. There's no reason to believe there's anything structurally going on here. Of course, there could possibly be. I mean, maybe that's the source of the soreness, but soreness happens for a lot of other reasons too. And so I won't take him. I won't take Wheeler in round 2 anymore, but I'm probably not letting him slip beyond round 4.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.